Hello, Odd Job Doer here, and today we're doing a little job here of a floor. And so this particular room here, you might be able to tell we've taken up some carpet that was down here and took up the padding. There's still some glue stains, but we took a scraper and scraped at that. And we took off the floorboards around there. And what we're going to do now is this floor is not really leveled. There's a crack. You see right there. It's not too major. But we're going to put down some self-leveling floor compound stuff. And you can see that before they did it, right here, the dark gray, that's there's a piece of wood there. It actually brought up to match the tile right down there. And so the carpet used to fit nicely against this tile, but they did build it up about a foot in a way. And well, now I'm going to put compound on the rest of the floor, because this floor is going to become a vinyl floor, a vinyl plank, I think it's called. And so first was the carpet out, the pad out, the floor molding out, sweep, scrape, clean this really, really good. And if you take everything off, that's fine, as long as it's really stuck down there. The only thing that can come up. And next we're going to use a primer that says it covers with one coat, but what I'm going to do is actually mix it with about a quart of water to a quart of primer, and then I'll put that down everywhere, let that dry, and then I'll do another full coat of 100%. And some of them, they want you to get a brush to really supposedly brush and push into the concrete. I don't know if that's really a great thing. I figure a roller. This particular brand says you can use a roller, so I'm going to go with the roller. That's a little bit easier and a little bit cheaper than a brush per se, unless you wash it off afterwards. So I will mix up the primer and start priming. All right, so now you can see here, I got about a quart of water in this here tub thing. And so I'm going to add in a quart of this primer till we get to 2 quarts full. So just go ahead and tell me when. Is that good? About right? Okay. And I'll give a little stir with the stick here to make sure it's all combined good. And ready to go to the floor with it. Alright, so now what I do over here is I just simply pour it out from the bucket on the floor and give it a little push like so, the roller, and maybe you want a nice even covering right up next to the edge here. That's what I really want to do, I get down there in the brush and try to force it under, but this should be okay. Try to get in some of those holes here. And the reason why we're doing this primer, of course, as you know, primers help things stick, what it's supposed to, is this particular stuff, we also don't want moisture loss. Back here, moisture loss from the new substrate going on as concrete. Concrete likes to suck the moisture off stuff. And so I'm doing 1 coat of this here at half strength, and then I'll do another coat at full strength. And this particular brand, when it's white, it's still wet, and it should be a clear coat when it's dry. So I'll work on this here and get back to y'all. Okay, and there you have it. So you see a little gloss there, sheen. Most of it is kind of already dried up, maybe? Not really. This thing here, I'll take it outside and wash it off good for the next coat. And so the first coat, and I can tell, like over there, there's some dark gray. We'd also try to level it before, but you know, this feels like a high spot, and so basically it goes low, high spot, crack for low, another high spot, and probably low around the rim. Perimeter. And so, yeah, do more primer and clean this up. Need more primer after this dries. All right, so the first coat here is fairly dry. There's a little bit of white spots there. I'm not too sure if that's still one or not. And so for the next one, full strength, we'll be getting a jug, basically. A gallon, I think, does 300 to 500 square feet. And so I used about a quart of it and a quart of water for the first washover. And now I'll just be using, well, probably another half quart to a quart to finish this again. And want to put it on and say goodbye for the night. So it can dry and be dry for tomorrow when you can put the other stuff on. All right, so I'll just kind of pour it on and you know, get the roller and rub it in. Let's see here. And I shook it, of course. It's like milk. If you have a cat, make sure a cat stays out here. You see right now how it's running toward the wall. That definitely shows that it is lower still, and it's something that they did build it up at one time. So I've washed this brush in between takes here, and it's going to take a little bit to absorb, and then it'll start spreading the stuff just fine. This gets a lot more white than the last bunch of stuff, and basically that's just it. Just get it up next to the wall. I'll keep doing this, but I won't film it because that's just like watching paint dry. So I'll continue this later. All right, so we have two stations we're going to do today. We have one part of our self-leveling under laminate. We got our gloves here. We got a bucket there with quartz on it. We got a little knife over to cut these bags open. We got a bucket to mix this in, and because today's cheat day, we have a dolly to haul this stuff in. On the other side here, we have a drill with the egg beater in it. And on the inside, we have a rake on the inside. And so the goal here is we'll mix up a batch out there real quick, bring it in here, where you can see a little bit of white stuff over there. I might check it real quick, otherwise the floor is clear and dry and echoey. And I'll start probably in the high part where the crack's at, and get some through the crack just to fill that up. And then I'll pour some along the back baseboards there. Aha, baseboards are gone. I'll pour them back corners there and use the rake here to rake out and to move it around. And that should help it leveling out and to spread easier. So let me go back to mixing. Okay, so this particular mixture here, for each bag of that, it takes a gallon of water. So I got this thing here. It goes up to 2 quarts. So of course 4 quarts to a gallon. And I get this here in my bucket. And now it's time to put some more. All right. So we are mixing it. I'm going to mix it up nice and smooth with a egg-type batter mixer. All right. So we got this here. Pour it out here and run this crack, and you see we got this here rig. Try to make it aerated a little bit. Actually, you don't want it aerated. You don't want bubbles in this, but you do want to get it spread out. So this rake in action helps spread it and keeps it and getting too much air in it. Then all you do is repeat. This is best to have a couple of crews doing this. One out there mixing, one in here spreading, a couple bringing in, pouring it. It's just me, so we'll see what happens. This stuff's fairly fast drying, and with all the powderiness in it, you don't want that in your lungs, so make sure you use a mask. You know, it's not to do on a windy day. It's horrible. And so here we are. Let me get some more of this mixed up and I'll get right back. Actually, I'll see what I can do here and I'll be back. Hello, Odd Job Doer here. And not too sure what happened just now, but if you're looking at the video still, this part here should be the part that had the voice before. And I don't know why it froze up. I went back through my clips to re-edit and found out that the originals were like that for some reason from the camera. So you can see here I'm raking, spreading the stuff out. Doesn't really spread too good with this little rake. Maybe it's the wrong kind of rake, but this does work to kind of help it get a direction of flow. And I think it does get out any kind of air bubbles. So basically just take all that stuff I talked about before when the picture wasn't moving and think about it happening here where it actually is happening. And first time I ever had a video do this, so that's kind of interesting, but it's not very helpful. So anyways, Odd Job Doer, thanks for watching, and keep watching. Bye. Alright, so now I've got this stuff in here. Take this broom here to just kind of spread around some more, get over some of that rake trails that might have gotten stuck, and make it look more of a finished product. And you see it's quite liquidy. Let's pour in this crack here in the ground. And yeah, meanwhile, if you have a crew of people, they could be out like cleaning up the tools and stuff. Otherwise, this stuff just, stick to it and make it all horrible. But almost done here. Feather around, and hopefully this is like most concrete products where the more water is okay. It just takes me a longer time to dry and sets up better. Otherwise, who knows? Actually, we don't want too much up on here, so we already have that leveled. And also, you can tell by my shoe, don't wear your Sunday best on this stuff. And be careful when you dump the bags in there, because they like to splatter. Found that trick out too. Alright, would you look at that? So, got this thing spread out pretty good. No, it's not so bad. There's some little issues like over there, a little wall splatter happened. But it's okay. These walls I think are going to get painted later. Especially right there too. And hopefully this is going to work out good. I'm not sure. I know that it does seem to be drying quicker where that crack's at. In fact, it kind of caved in there. And then, otherwise there's quite a bit of liquid stuff I think in it. But I think this is leveled it out better than what it was before. I know it filled in all the little holes around the perimeter from where they had the carpet tack strips nailed down. And let's say a little bit of rake back here. Right there you see the holes there. Giant finger from where the rake dug in there, but then we split some more of it and I don't know. I don't think it's going to smooth out any more than it already is. I think it's already, in fact, over here, already pretty dry. But what it is, what it is. So we could leave it for now, and a couple hours come back, see if it's all dry or set up. I think it's supposed to dry like in 2 or 3 hours to walk on. I'm actually going to give it a week. So I'll call this done for now since nobody wants to sit around and watch it dry. And in a week or so, maybe, no, there's any paint done. So after the paint gets done in this room, then the floor will go back in. But in a week or so, I'll be able to tap dance on this and see how it goes. All right, I'm back. All right, and here we go. Now it's, I don't know, has some oddities to it with the way the, you know, colorization is a little bit different. And, I don't know. Well, I do know, because I'm walking on it. This is not quite 24 hours later. Or maybe it is, actually. Yeah. And, I'm not falling through, which of course I shouldn't, but, yeah, everything seems dryish and levelerish. You know, when I walk across it, I don't feel the high spot that used to be in the high spot area. I don't feel the low spots anymore. So this here is a done job, I think, for leveling the floor with this leveling compound. And next what will happen in this room is it'll get some cleaning, you know, the walls and stuff. Kind of comes off like so. And I'll get it painted. And then we'll go on to the floor. With the floor, I'll do part 2. This will be part 1. Floor will be part 2. And the floor moldings, I think, will be part 3. Yeah. So, this is the Odd Job Viewer. Thanks for watching. And stay tuned for more updates on this room in the future. One thing I'll point out, though, while I'm still here, is this flooring. Let's see, so we have the concrete below this. This is kind of a concrete polymer stuff. But over this part here, you can't remember, but there's some bubbling. And that's one of the reasons, I don't know if I mentioned before, but that's one of the reasons why you want to put down the primer, is because the water can seep through or air can come up and also cause bubbling in your flooring here. And you don't want that. And that's one way to help not get it, is put that primer down. So a very important step. Because me walking around, I don't see any kind of like little pinholes. I don't see any kind of bubbling, like real small bubbles, you know, pinhole things. That's probably fine. Especially if you're, well, if you're doing carpet, I wouldn't think of even doing this whole thing. But the other bubbles that used to be over here that I primered and re-went over, they, for the most part, disappeared, and now it's smooth. So that should help the flooring. All right. Wait till the next video. If you like this, subscribe. You know, hit the notification button so you can get all the videos when I upload them. And thanks for watching.